Hey guys, welcome to See Our First Kids Online Big City Studio. So happy you guys could join us today. I'm going to go ahead and let Miss Katie introduce today's lesson.
So excited to talk to you today about God's game plan. But first, I have a question for you. Have you ever wondered why bad things happen to good people? Also, if someone is living for God, how can they go through so many difficult things in their life? Sometimes we think that when bad things happen, that it must be a punishment for something that we've done. We begin to get discouraged and sad and think that there's no way that we will ever be able to get out of the situation that we are in. But there's a pretty awesome promise in the Bible that God has made to each of us about what we can do in our bad situations. To find out more, let's watch this video together.
Oh, hey, you're just in time. I'm waiting on a phone call from my coach. We had makeup tryouts yesterday, and I feel like I did pretty good. After all,
you have an excellent trainer, if I do say so myself.
Yeah, Tony, I was just about to say that. I have an excellent trainer.
And you're following God's game plan for your life.
I sure am. I've learned so much on this journey.
You sure have, shortstop. It's like my old pal, Potty Skippin, used to say.
Wait, potty skipping?
That's what I said. Did I stutter?
Don't you mean Scottie Pippen of the world champion Chicago Bulls?
No, I'm talking about Potty Skippin. He's the guy that would clean the basketballs for my team that I played on in middle school. Anyway, it's like Potty used to say, you can't trust a porcupine to weave his own basket.
And what exactly was that supposed to mean?
I have no idea, but I always thought it sounded funny. Forget about it.
Gladly.
Uh-oh.
Oh, it's the coach. What am I supposed to do?
You answer the phone. Hello?
Oh, yeah. Hello? Oh, hey, coach. Yeah? You're kidding. Yeah, I understand. Okay, bye.
Well, don't just stand there. What did he say?
Well, he said that there was a major mix-up with the video. You see, the coach recorded a video to show to all the assistant coaches to show them our skills and evaluate us to see if we were ready to make the team.
Yeah, so?
So, the coach said the video of me got corrupted, so he wasn't able to show any of the assistant coaches how I did.
Well, what does that mean?
I'll tell you what that means. It means they have nothing to evaluate my skills. There's no way I'm gonna make the team now.
Now just hold on. God can still turn this thing around.
Turn this around? Are you kidding?
No, I'm not kidding. After all, God did make us a promise in Romans 8:28.
What promise is that?
And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to His purpose for them.
How in the world can this work together for my good? This is terrible. The video is totally corrupted. It's over for me, Tony.
Yeah, well, I bet people thought it was over for Joseph, too.
Who's Joseph? Is it another one of your basketball buddies?
No, Joseph in the Bible. The kids are going to learn all about in their lesson today how Joseph went through some horrible things in his life. It looked like things were going to be over, but God turned it all around for his good.
Really? Well, I sure would like to hear about that.
You will, and so will the kids. Never count God out. He can turn things around. You just got to trust in His promises.
Okay, I will.
That's what I like to hear. Now, another funny thing that Potty Skippin used to say is sometimes he would take his toothbrush and put it in his ears because it makes his toenails vibrate.
It can be really easy to get discouraged when things are not going our way. But we have to remember that God is able to take our bad situation and turn things around. He can take the bad and make it good. That's exactly what we're going to learn about in our lesson today with Pastor Jan. But first, we're going to check in with our friend Callie from the Valley and learn our What You Gotta Know.
You know I gotta tell you what you gotta know. Tell you what you gotta know. You know I gotta tell you what you gotta know. Tell you what you gotta know.
Hey kids, it's me, Callie from the Valley, and I'm here to tell you what you gotta know. Today we're talking about how God can turn grody situations into good ones. So every time today somebody asks you what you gotta know, you tell them. God can use the bad for good. Bad things happen to all of us. You can probably relate to these. Like when your bangs just won't get high enough, or when you're at the mall and the mall cop is like, you can't roller skate in here, and you have to walk. Or when your cassette tapes get totally jammed in your Walkman and you can't listen to your favorite song. You know what I mean, right? Yeah, well, whatever. Those are totally awful situations. But the point is, God can turn any bad situation into good. He can turn the beat. He can turn things around for you. So every time today somebody asks you what you gotta know, you tell them. God can use the bad for good. And that is what you gotta know. I'm Callie from the Valley saying TTYL.
All right, kids, are you ready to try it out with me? Stand to your feet. Here we go. Hey, kids, what you gotta know? It goes like this. God can use the bad for good. It's pretty easy, huh? Let's try it again. Hey, kids, what you gotta know? God can use the bad for good. That was awesome.
Hey friends, you know what I'm gonna ask now? Hey guys, what you gotta know? God can use the bad for good. Way to go! You guys got it!
All right, buddy, let me have it. I know, I'm lazy and I'm going nowhere.
Hello, Megan, you sweat. What's wrong? You really are not your normal self that we know and love.
I'm bad, rotten, useless.
Okay, first, no, none of those things are true. Second, what's wrong?
My alarm didn't go off this morning. I missed teaching my 4 a.m. workout class. When I finally woke up at 8 o'clock, all the fruit and oatmeal was gone, so I had donuts for breakfast.
Aww, it sounds like your day got off to a really bad start, but for you, sounds awesome to me. Donuts.
Bad doesn't even begin to describe it. I don't work out now and I don't eat healthy anymore. Who am I? No one can help me now. I'm a lost cause. I'm a bad apple.
Look at you think about that fruit. Listen, we all have those bad moments. I think you should listen to today's lesson because you can hear how God can turn it around.
Listening.
All right. Bad things happen to everyone, but God is in control and He can use those bad things for your good.
Like when my friend Melissa accidentally spilled chocolate into my milk, and it made this really, weird tasting brown milk, but it was amazing. It was the best I've ever had.
First of all, you think your friend created chocolate milk? Never mind. It doesn't matter. So what does matter is that you don't let the stuff get you down because God can turn it around.
I think I see what you mean. Those last 7 donuts have given me some super energy, so I can probably use that to my benefit in my training for my next match,
Okay, careful there. I know this from experience because that is donut energy, but I know that you crash and it doesn't last very long, so you may want to eat some fruit and nuts as well.
I think you're right. Whoa, I'm so tired now.
Okay, so will you listen to today's lesson?
Oh, definitely.
Okay.
I think this sugar spike and crash has caused me to see and hear everything in slow motion.
Okay, I'm pretty sure that that is not a side effect I am aware of from person eating donuts.
Well, would it make a difference if I said that I ate a glazed donut?
No, that wouldn't make a difference. How many actually?
1 dozen glazed and 1 dozen chocolate donuts. My tummy hurts.
Okay, Megan, that is 24 donuts. That is way too many for one person. That is bad.
You're very right. I gotta go. Bye!
Oh, boys and girls, let this be a lesson to you. Don't you ever eat 24 donuts.
Don't you guys just love fall? I know I do. One of the best things about fall is all of the pumpkins. But you know what's not so great about fall? A rotten pumpkin. Today, we're going to play a game where you have to try to identify a rotten pumpkin from a good pumpkin. The rules are simple. I'll give you the name of a Bible character, then I'll show you 3 pumpkins with facts about that Bible character. 2 of these facts will be true, but 1 will not be. That's the rotten pumpkin. All you have to do is hold up the number of fingers for the pumpkin you think is rotten. 1, 2, or 3. Easy enough, right? All right, let's go. Our first Bible character is King David. Now, which of these is not true about King David? 1, David killed a giant. 2, David was Israel's first king. 3, David was a shepherd. Remember, hold up 1, 2, or 3 fingers based on which pumpkin you think is not telling the truth. Okay, time's up. Who is holding up 2 fingers? You're correct. King David was Israel's second king. Good job. Let's try another. Our next Bible character is Samson. Now, which of these is not true about Samson? 1, Samson was very weak. 2, Samson had long hair. 3, Samson killed a lion. Okay, time to get those fingers up. Which pumpkin do you think is not telling the truth? Time's up. Who's holding up 2 fingers? You should be holding up 1 because Samson was very strong. Let's do another one. Rahab is our next Bible character. Now, which of these is not true about Rahab? 1, Rahab was from Jericho. 2, Rahab helped the Israelite spies. 3, Rahab hung a bird cage from her window. All right, it's time to decide. Which pumpkin do you think is not telling the truth? Time's up. Who is holding up 3 fingers? You are correct. Rahab actually tied a scarlet rope in her window. Let's try another. Peter is our next Bible character. Now, which of these is not true about Peter? 1, Peter walked on water. 2, Peter lied about knowing Jesus. 3, Peter was a tax collector. So what do you think? Which of these pumpkins is not telling the truth? Time's up. Who is holding up 3 fingers? You're correct. Peter was actually a fisherman. Good job! Jonah is our next Bible character. Now, which of these is not true about Jonah? 1, Jonah was swallowed by a fish. 2, Jonah spent 5 days in a fish's belly. 3, Jonah went to Nineveh. So what do you think? Which of these pumpkins is not telling the truth? That's it! Time is up. Who's holding up 2 fingers? You are correct. Jonah was actually in the fish's belly for 3 days. That's still a long time. Eve is our next Bible character. Now, which of these is not true about Eve? 1, Eve was Adam's daughter. 2. Eve was the first woman to ever live. 3. Eve was Abel's mother. So what do you think? Which of these pumpkins is not telling the truth? Time's up! Who is holding up 3 fingers? You should be holding up only 1. Eve was actually Adam's wife. Esther is our next Bible character. Now, which of these is not true about Esther? 1. Esther was a queen. 2. Esther was a Jew. 3. Esther was married to Haman. So what do you think? Which of these pumpkins is not telling the truth? Time's up. Who is holding up 3 fingers? You are correct. Esther was actually married to King Xerxes. Let's try one last question. Noah is our final Bible character. Now, which of these is not true about Noah? 1. Noah built an ark. 2. Noah painted a rainbow on the ark. 3. Noah had 3 sons. Which of these pumpkins is not telling the truth? Time's up! Who's holding up 2 fingers? You are correct. God actually put a rainbow in the sky when Noah came out of the ark. Great job, everyone!
Good morning, boys and girls. It's time for another Bible story. And today's Bible story is found in Genesis chapter 50. It's about a guy that we're all very familiar with. His name was Joseph. So Joseph was his father's favorite. And his father made no bones about it. He was very open about it. So, being the favorite son, Joseph's brothers did not like it. They were very jealous, as you might imagine. So one day they got so angry at him that they ended up selling him as a slave to some passing traders. If that wasn't worse, Joseph went through a lot over the next few years. He ended up being accused of something he didn't do. Then he spent time in prison. And to make a long story short, God used Joseph in a powerful way. He ended up being placed as second in command of all of Egypt. Pretty cool. So, as second in command of all of Egypt, Joseph ended up reconnecting with his brother and his father later on, and they came to live with him in Egypt. So eventually their father died, and after he was buried, Joseph's brothers began to get very nervous. They got to thinking, well, Dad's not here anymore, and we did all these terrible things to our brother Joseph. Maybe he is just waiting for Dad to pass away so that Joseph can get even with us. Well, you know what? Joseph found out about this, and he cried. He was so sad that they couldn't see that he was not that kind of person. He was so sad because they couldn't see that he had forgiven them. So at that moment, Joseph said something amazing to them. Joseph said, "Don't be afraid of me. Am I God to judge and punish you? No. As far as I'm concerned, you intended to harm me, but God intended it all for good. So he brought me to this high position that I have today so that I could save you, so that I could save many, many people." The brothers couldn't believe what they heard. Not only did Joseph not want to harm them, but Joseph believed that God had actually allowed all the bad things to happen in his life so that God could use them to bring good to Joseph and his family. That wasn't all Joseph said to them. Joseph told the brothers, "I will take care of you and your children from this day forward." Wow, how cool was that? What an incredible attitude that Joseph had. Joseph believed that God could use even the worst situations, even the worst things in life, to bring about great things for him and his family. And that is exactly what God did, and exactly what God will do for you.
Everyone, my name is Ruby Artiste, but nobody goes by Ruby anymore, so you can just call me Artiste. Now, I'm just working on my newest painting here, but I think I'm going to take a break. So, why don't you help me with today's power verse? See, the problem is I sleepwalk at night. And last night I was painting today's power verse and I started using pictures instead of words. So now I need you to help me figure out what it's supposed to say. Let's take a look at it. And we scold. Mean person. Why is that person saying no? Oh, no. That God causes everything to desk? Businessman? No? Well, what is that person doing? They're working on something. Work together for the good of those who heart. No, that's not it. Well, boys and girls, what could that word be? Ah, yes, love, God, and oh, we know this one. Called according to his dolphin. No, that's right, purpose for them. Romans 8:28. That's it! Great job, boys and girls. Now, let's make sure that we don't forget it. So everyone stand up and say it with me on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. And we know that God causes everything to work together for the good of those who love God and are called according to his purpose for them. Romans 8:28. Great job, everyone. You can all have a seat. Now, would you like to see what I've been painting today? Let me warn you, though. It makes me a little bit emotional, and it might make you emotional, too. So get ready, get your handkerchiefs out, ready to dab your tears, because it's quite touching. See, it's a flower in the desert. Let me show you. We'll all take a moment of silence. I'm sorry. It's just so powerful. You are going to be okay, little flower. Even if all of your petals are down on the ground, you can get back up. I'm sorry. Anyway, thank you all so much for your help today. I'll see you later, boys and girls. Bye-bye.
Hey guys, how many of you have ever had something bad happen? Yeah, me too. How many of you have ever had something bad happen to somebody you love? I bet every single person can think of something. Now, how many of you have bad things happen and heard of bad things happening to people who are strong Christians? Everybody does. Now, a lot of people get really confused as to why God would allow bad things to happen to people who are following Jesus. They assume that just because someone is a Christian, things will always be good and life will be perfect for them. But that isn't the way it is at all. That's not how life is. Even Jesus said that there would be struggles and hardships in our life. Bad things do happen to good people. Now, let's take a look at our story that Mr. Mark shared with us earlier about Joseph. Now, Joseph had many bad things happen to him in his life, didn't he? His brothers hated him because they were jealous of him because he was his father's favorite. Nobody believed his dream that he had. He was sold into slavery after he was thrown in a pit, right? He was tempted by Potiphar's wife. He was accused of something he didn't do. He was put in prison, and he was forgotten by Pharaoh's cupbearer. He had so many bad things happen to him, didn't he? But even though he went through all those bad things, Joseph never lost faith in God. He never stopped believing that God was at work in his life. Now remember what Joseph said in our Bible story today? He told his brothers, "As far as I am concerned, you intended to harm me, but God intended it for good. He brought me to the high position I have today so I could save the lives of so many." God turned what could have been awful, and probably was pretty awful during the time that it was happening, into something good. And not just something good for Joseph, but something good for the entire nation of Israel. Now, how could Joseph think this way? Because do you guys think that way when bad things are happening to you? How could he look at all the bad things that happened in his life and still have faith in God and that God was working behind the scenes? It's because, and this is what we need to learn today, because Joseph realized that bad things happen. Bad things happen in life, boys and girls. We get hurt. People let us down. We lose friends. People get sick. But these things are just all a part of life. Jesus told us in John 16:33, in this world you will have trouble. It's not a maybe. You will have trouble. Bad things will happen. They happened to Joseph, and they will happen to you and me. But the key is that we need to remember that God is in control. Joseph didn't freak out when he was sold into slavery. He knew God was in control. Joseph didn't go crazy when he was put in prison for something he didn't do. He knew God was in control. Joseph knew that although it seemed on the outside like things were going terribly wrong, behind the scenes, God was working to make everything come together for his awesome game plan. If Joseph had never been sold into slavery and thrown into prison, he never would have been able to interpret the dream for Pharaoh and become the ruler of the land. Never forget that God can take the bad and use it for good. God has a way of taking the things that the enemy meant for evil or other people meant for evil and making them work out for the good of those who love him. That's what our power verse says today. And that's what we need to understand. When someone close to you gets sick, believe that God can use that bad thing to bring about something good. When one of your parents loses their job, believe that God can use that bad thing to bring about something good. He may have an even better job waiting for them. God can use the bad for good. Now, you might be wondering, would God really let bad things happen to someone just to help his plan, so his plan could be accomplished? Would God do that? In fact, he would. How do I know? Because he did it with his son. God allowed Jesus to be beaten and nailed to the cross so that his plan of salvation could be brought about for you and me. God can take what's bad and use it to bring about something amazing and good. And we have to remember that he is in control and to trust him no matter what. I'd love to pray with you guys today. So Lord Jesus, we know that this time has not been easy. We know that things have been going on in each of our lives, that some of us are struggling in different ways. Maybe we've not been around people, or we're not allowed to go out and do different things, maybe even go back to school the way we were used to. But Father God, I thank you that we would not lose heart, that we remember that you are in control. And Lord God, that you would use all those things, all those bad things that are going on around us for your glory, that you would turn and use the bad for good. In your name we pray, amen. I love you guys. I will see you next week on Big City Studio Online or in our live services at 9 and 11 on Sundays and during lunchtime devotions. I love you guys. Bye-bye.